Today is Wednesday, September 20th. What to know about President Biden's speech to the world as he plans more aid for Ukraine, and why the U.S. Marines have grounded all of their planes. Also, we'll outline new medical recommendations affecting pregnant women. Plus, why some parents of kids who play Fortnite might be owed money from the company. The new AI tools coming to Google's Gmail, Maps, Docs, and more. And this may surprise you, why some workers are more likely to quit after a promotion. Those stories and even more news to know coming up. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. United Nations General Assembly is off to an emotional start. On the first day of the gathering, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky gave a passionate speech saying Russia must be stopped from, quote, pushing the world to the final war. Zelensky also accused Russia of weaponizing everything from food to energy and even children. President Biden also addressed the UN yesterday and also warned of grave consequences if Russia's aggression was not stopped. He raised the question, quote, if we allow Ukraine to be carved up, is the independence of any nation secure? Biden then urged world leaders who have been supporting Ukraine to stay united and keep the aid flowing. In fact, the American president has already asked the U.S. Congress to greenlight another $24 billion in aid for Ukraine. At this point, though, it's not clear if lawmakers will honor that request. While Zelensky is going to make his case for more aid this week, he's now traveling to Washington, D.C. to meet with congressional leaders and visit the White House tomorrow. There are now growing tensions between two allies of the U.S. over an assassination. Canada's Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, accused the Indian government of being behind the killing of a Sikh separatist leader on Canadian soil. He says there's solid evidence to support the accusation. And one Canadian government official told Reuters the U.S. has been working closely with Canada on intelligence. The U.S. has not confirmed one way or another at this point and is just pressing for a full and open investigation. Well, India called the allegation absurd, then accused Canada of being a haven for terrorists. In fact, India considered the assassinated Sikh leader a terrorist, saying he supported attacks in part of India where separatists want to establish an independent Sikh homeland, though the Sikh leader always said that wasn't true. Either way, there's been some fallout from the countries trading allegations. Canada and India both expelled each other's diplomats, and another Canadian official told Reuters trade talks between the two countries have been put on hold. The U.S. Marine Corps has decided to ground all of its planes. It comes after an unusual mishap earlier this week when a $100 million warplane went missing. On Sunday, there was a malfunction on the jet, so the pilot had to eject and parachute to safety in a South Carolina backyard. But it's not exactly clear what happened next. For a while, Joint Base Charleston had trouble tracking down the jet and even asked for the public's help to find it. Its wreckage has since been found, so we now know the aircraft was able to keep flying without a pilot for 60 miles before eventually crashing into a field. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but there are now a lot of questions. So all aircraft are standing down. Both the Marines and the Navy are investigating. How should the U.S. Supreme Court's latest ruling on affirmative action apply to military academies? That is the focus of a new lawsuit against the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. The group Students for Fair Admissions is arguing that the high court ruling that bans affirmative action in civilian colleges should apply to military academies as well. Now, keep in mind, the Supreme Court specifically decided not to make any decision about military academies, noting its unique role in society. The group suing, though, is using the same legal reasoning in the case, saying using race as a factor in admissions violates the Fifth Amendment in the Constitution that guarantees equal protection. And it says future cadets should only be based on objective metrics and leadership potential. West Point won't comment on the lawsuit, but the Biden administration and some retired military leaders and veterans have argued, even in court filings, that it's important for diverse classes of officers to come out of the service academies. They say that will lead to better morale and less racial tension in the ranks, some even calling it a national security matter. To be continued. Once again, Democrats and Republicans are clashing in the U.S. Senate. But this time, it's not over any kind of bill or law. It's about the dress code. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer recently told the chamber's sergeant-at-arms to no longer enforce the dress code for members as of this week. As many news outlets have reported, the change mostly comes to accommodate Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman, who wears his trademark hoodies and shorts on the job. The traditional dress code said all members must wear business attire, which for men has meant a coat and tie. So Fetterman often has to vote from the doorways by just holding his thumb up or down. But not anymore. While Republicans aren't happy about this change, 46 of the 50 GOP senators wrote Schumer a letter saying, quote, allowing casual clothing on the Senate floor disrespects the institution we serve and the American families we represent. So why does Fetterman insist on casual clothes? For now, he's just saying they make him more comfortable, and there are more important things senators need to be worried about. By the way, only senators are affected by this change. Staffers and guests are still expected to wear business attire. More news is still coming up, but first, support for today's episode comes from Miracle Made. Apparently, traditional bed sheets can harbor more bacteria than a toilet seat, and that can't be good, and could lead to issues with acne, allergies, and more. Well, Miracle Made offers a whole line of self-cleaning, eco-friendly bedding, such as sheets, pillowcases, and comforters that prevent 99% of bacteria and require 3 times less laundry. Yes, these sheets are infused with silver that prevents up to 99.7% of bacterial growth. Plus, they are super soft. We have them on our bed right now, and my husband and I are very happy about it. They are so comfortable. So go to trymiracle.com/newsworthy to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you are buying them for yourself or a gift for a loved one, if you order now, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo Newsworthy at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/newsworthy and use the code newsworthy to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/newsworthy to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode. There's a new recommendation affecting pregnant women. Medical experts with the government-backed U.S. Preventive Services Task Force now says pregnant women should be screened for hypertensive disorders at every prenatal visit. We're talking preeclampsia, eclampsia, gestational hypertension, and more. The reason? The instances of hypertensive disorders in pregnant women nearly doubled between 2007 and 2019 in the U.S. In just the last 2 years, they affected at least 1 in 7 hospital deliveries. Some researchers and doctors have pointed to possible reasons for the spike, including rising rates of obesity and diabetes, as well as women giving birth at older ages. But no matter what's behind it, task force members are calling it a maternal health crisis. They're also calling for better tools and asking doctors and patients to pay close attention to blood pressure, which is the main way to screen for these disorders, both during pregnancy and postpartum. Do your kids play Fortnite? And have they paid for gear in the video game without asking you? If you answered yes to that last one, the FTC now says you're entitled to a refund. U.S. regulators are starting to notify more than 37 million people that they might be eligible for part of $275 million. It's not clear exactly how much each person will get, since that does depend on a few factors, including how many people actually file a claim. But the FTC is taking refund requests now. It's all part of a legal settlement with Fortnite's maker, Epic Games, over allegations the company tricked players into buying items like costumes, dance moves, and loot crates. And government regulators say Epic made it too easy for kids, even younger than 13, to rack up charges without a parent's consent. Epic says it has since made some updates to prevent that kind of thing from happening again. Still, if you or your child were charged for unwanted purchases in Fortnite between 2017 and 2022, you can apply for a refund now on the FTC website. Google is bringing its Bard AI chatbot to some of its most popular products. For example, Gmail, Docs, and Drive. So Bard can now do things like find and summarize the contents of an email, or highlight the most important points of a document you've stored in Drive. You could have Bard put the information it finds into a chart or create a bulleted summary. And those are just a few examples. Of course, there could be some privacy concerns about giving Bard access to your personal email and documents, but Google says it won't use the information to train Bard's public model, and none of the information will be seen by human reviewers. Also, you do have to opt in to integrate Bard with some other Google apps. That's not the case, though, with Maps, YouTube, and Google Flights. Google will bring Bard to those 3 by default. On those apps, it can do things like pull real-time flight information, find nearby attractions, or scan YouTube videos on a certain topic. And you can disable it at any time. This all comes as Google faces all kinds of competition in the AI space. It looks like Disney is about to have some new attractions. The company says it's planning a roughly $60 billion investment in parks and cruises over the next decade. That's double what Disney spent on parks and cruises over the past decade, even though it increased its cruise lines, added rides to its American parks, and opened a resort in Shanghai. So what's next? Well, Disney would not give concrete plans, but the chairman of the parks division gave some hints. He mentioned that popular Disney movies like Coco, Zootopia, Encanto, and Black Panther have not had much presence at the parks yet. But Disney is not planning to build any completely new parks, at least not anytime soon. That's it for the main news today, so now it's time for Work Wednesday, when we break down one interesting career or work-related news story every Wednesday. But first, this podcast is sponsored by AG1. I gave AG1 a try because, as a busy parent and business owner, I'm always on the lookout for things that are both good for me and are convenient. So I was really intrigued by AG1, and I actually reached out to them wanting to partner, and I've been really happy with my experience all around. I drink AG1 before I eat or drink anything else, and it makes me feel ready to take on the day. AG1 replaces a lot of other supplements, including a daily multivitamin, minerals, pre- and probiotics for gut health, adaptogens, and a greens blend, all in one scoop of powder mixed with water. And yes, I like some ice and a splash of lemon juice, and then I'm all set. I even love the little bottle AG1 sends with the powder because it's easy to take on the go if things are especially hectic or busy one morning. My toddler even knows I have it every morning and now refers to it as either mama's drink or green drink, which is pretty adorable. So if you're looking for a simpler, effective investment for your health, try AG1 and get 5 free AG1 travel packs and a free 1-year supply of vitamin D with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/newsworthy. That's drinkag1.com/newsworthy. Check it out. Okay, now back to Work Wednesday. So here's one way for bosses to drive away their workers: promote them. Yeah, a new analysis from payroll provider ADP found employees who get promoted are actually more likely to quit. Researchers looked at data from 1.2 million workers at companies with at least 1,000 employees from 2019 to 2022. And they found nearly 30% of workers leave within the first month of a promotion. It says if those same workers had not been promoted, only about 18% would have left. So what's going on here? Well, ADP says a new job title just makes a worker more desirable to other companies. They might see the job change on LinkedIn, for example, and then pounce. That doesn't mean bosses should stop offering promotions, though. Experts say companies just need to better support employees through promotions, like helping them adjust to their new roles, especially if they're moving into management. Then after the first few months, promoted workers are said to be even more committed and more productive. Well, thank you so much for listening today. We'll be back with more news to know tomorrow. Until then, have a great day.